This is Business, Equity, and Opportunities.
If you are at a crossroads in your life, maybe you feel stuck in a dead-end job, you want to be your own boss, or hope to give back to your community, those are all reasons people cite when they become an entrepreneur, start a business. We're here to help. This is Business, Equity, and Opportunities. I'm Scott Sander. Each week, we turn to people who are experts in your path, business owners and community leaders who share their insights, experience, and expertise. Then we break it down into 7 weekly topics. Getting started, gaining access to capital, looking at the week in business, handling accounting and bookkeeping issues, and a variety of stories to help you run your business day to day. We then take a closer look at various industries, and we close with an inspirational success story. We have a new show every week, every Sunday here on Wish TV. We stream it live on wishtv.com as well, and then post every one of those 7 weekly segments on our website, beoshow.com. That also has resources to past episodes. You'll see a QR code throughout this hour, which will take you directly to the website and the topic you want to see. While you're there, subscribe to our weekly newsletter and our Business, Equity, and Opportunities podcast, part of the All Indiana Podcast Network. Now for this hour to the business of business today on Business, Equity, and Opportunities. An expert helps break down barriers to financial literacy, what the Business Ownership Initiative can do for you. We preview the next Seat at the Table event and the next Women Equity Brunch, We Brunch. Jane King has the latest Indiana business news and an effort to pave the way for young black designers in the sneaker industry, and how local high school students are getting a taste of a career in medicine. We're getting started with the subject of financial literacy. James Wilkerson has been a certified financial planner for more than 20 years. These days, his mission is helping people, especially in minority populations, become more successful with money.
This is Business, Equity, and Opportunities. Getting started.
Today on Business, Equity, and Opportunities, we meet a new voice to our show, somebody who has life experience that may well help you in many different ways. His name's James Wilkerson, kind enough to join us on the line today. Sir, thanks for being with us. The work we try to do here each week seems to be right up your alley, particularly for minority-owned businesses and entrepreneurs, and your thoughts about the importance of financial literacy, conversation, and planning as it relates both to the black family and business spirit.
Hey, first of all, let me say thank you for having me with you this morning, Scott. I'm excited to be here. I will share with you, when it comes to financial literacy, the bottom line is if you want to change your life, you have to change your literacy. And unfortunately, most people are financially illiterate because nobody has ever sit down and talked to them about money or how money works. And that's what we want to do. We want to eradicate financial literacy. And the way we do that is through education.
One of the things that you make as a point, which I think really resonates, is the idea that even if it's out of fear of not knowing enough, you should not avoid conversation. In fact, build a conversation with anybody and everybody and make the whole community stronger?
Without a doubt. What's important is for those who have obtained that information, that knowledge, to share it. You have to have that reach back opportunity. And one of the things that's not taking place in a lot of communities is that the folks who have achieved a certain degree of financial success, they're not reaching back and pouring back into the community to mentor those folks who may have an interest in doing something in the same arena.
You talk a lot about debt in your work, and there's this fear of, I have to deal with the debt. I've got to get the debt down to zero. Is there too much of a message that that's the only important thing?
We are creatures of programming. We have been programmed to think that way. Unfortunately, there are other pieces of the puzzle that people never give consideration to. Debt is just one aspect of it, and you need to manage debt, and there's good debt and there's bad debt. And if you learn how to leverage it, especially from an entrepreneur standpoint, it would do great things for you. For example, if you decided that you wanted to invest in a venture, you could leverage home equity line of credit to create an opportunity for you to do something in business. That's just one aspect of debt. Most of the time, people are in debt because they went out and bought stuff with money they didn't have to impress people they really didn't like. Having champagne taste but a Coca-Cola budget. And so debt is there. The other thing that people have to do, they have to learn how to save. You'll be amazed at the number of people who don't understand that by saving a very small amount of money, on a regular basis can turn into significant income down the line. Take a 20-year-old person, put away $200 a month, $50 a week. If they did that in their 20s, by the time they got to their 60s, they're in a position where they have a very comfortable retirement income stream, and they can do it tax-free. So you have to manage debt, but that's not priority number one. You have to save, you have to invest, but more importantly, we have to also have protection in place. Because at the end of the day, it's not if it's gonna happen, it's just when is it gonna happen, because bad things happen to good people all the time.
To prepare for that, you break it down into at least 3 questions. I'd like to kind of go through those questions, your thought on each. We start with, where am I with my money right now?
Okay, everybody is somewhere financially. We could agree 100% with that. Everybody would like to be somewhere else financially. They just don't know how to get there. So what's important for them is to reach out and ask. Most people are fearful and afraid to ask for help because they're embarrassed about their financial position. However, for me, if I see somebody who has something I would like to have or doing something I would like to do, I'm gonna ask them, how did you do this? And that's one of the things that we have to do, is make sure that we are letting everybody know we're available to talk to you about these things if you want to learn.
Second question, and you've kind of talked a little bit about that, is, knowing where you are is one thing, but where do you want to be is the second question.
I grew up in Mississippi, and I grew up poor. We didn't have enough for the OR. I grew up poor. And so one of the things I would do, I would go dreaming. I would just ride down on the beach, look at the beautiful houses on the beach there, and I would dream about it and say, one day, eventually, I would get there. And so what we have to do is imagine what's possible. We have to do possibility projection. We have to believe that things are possible. And once we start believing it, now we work toward that belief. Having a dream is one thing, but putting the work in to get it is another thing. And most people are not willing to do the work.
And that is the third question, right? What do I have to do to get there?
Start. That's the most important thing that people fail to do. They fail to start. A lot of people would get into the racing blocks and sit there, and when the pistol is fired, they stay. You have to take action. We shouldn't despise a small beginning. If we do stuff on a small scale, eventually we could build up on that, because it's gonna go from level to another level to another level, and eventually we'll find out we've accomplished a lot more than we had ever anticipated.
You feel that mindset is huge to all of these questions, this entire conversation. If you go into this with nothing but fear, it's almost impossible to accomplish your dreams and goals?
No doubt about it. Fear keeps people from taking action. And the most important thing that we could do is act on our fear. I would guarantee you, if you talk to any of those folks who have been in the face of live bullets flying around them, they probably had a degree of fear, but they took action anyway. And so when it comes to us and the things that we have to do from a financial standpoint, we have to embrace the fact that, yeah, there may be some things I may not fully understand or be aware of, but if I take action and I talk to the right people, eventually I'll be able to navigate that minefield.
And start, as you say.
And start.
James Wilkerson, great conversation. We appreciate the insight and thoughts.
Thank you so much, Scott. I had a great time being with you. You have an incredible rest of your day, sir.
You as well. For more from James Wilkerson on financial literacy, scan the QR code that's on your screen, or just go to BEOshow.com. If you have a business story you'd like to share with us, send us an email, beo@wishtv.com. Coming up next, the Indy Chamber Business Owner Initiative has a new leader. We'll meet him on the other side of this break.
Don't miss all the fun things happening in and around Central Indiana. There's a lot going on, and you can find out about all of it on the In the Community podcast. Listen and subscribe with new episodes every week. The In the Community podcast from Wish TV and the All Indiana Podcast Network.
Welcome back to Business Equity and Opportunities. The Indy Chamber has a new leader for the team that's tasked with helping entrepreneurs. David Herron is the Executive Director of the Business Ownership Initiative, or BOI. He has experience in small business lending, grant management, budget maintenance, and more, all which can help you access capital. We talked to him about his new role and how the BOI has become an important community resource.
This is Business, Equity, and Opportunities. Access to Capital.
I started off in banking, and started off with a local bank here in Indianapolis, and I started off as a teller and just kind of worked my way up, and I became a branch manager on the east side of town. And what really got me into where I am now is I was doing small business lending, but I was finding my way into not really being able to get these loans approved, whether it was credit, whether it was just like a newer business. So I was really just kind of seeking other opportunities. So like, where do I refer my client to if I can't necessarily help myself? So then I found another local nonprofit, which is in Ting, Indiana. And then from Ting, Indiana, I ran their small business lending program, and then came over here in October to be executive director of BOI. BOI is a CDFI lender, community development financial institution. We provide capital to small businesses here in Marion County and the surrounding counties as well. And then at the same time, we provide free business coaching as well. I believe it's a really good time, just because, as we all know, the way small business goes and grows is the way the country goes and grows. So as long as small business is doing well, the country typically is doing well. So if we can continue to provide access to capital and provide opportunities for small businesses, it makes it to where everybody is really doing well, hopefully anyway, right? A lot of small businesses, and especially minority small businesses, may be lending resistant, whether it's whatever may have happened in the past, whether they've been denied before, or they just feel like they're not in a position to move forward. To those people, I say, just come and get some information from us, come and get some information from other CDFIs as well, to provide opportunity to kind of see where you are, whether it's the actual pre-lending opportunities or pre-lending side of things, or to be able to get the coaching that we provide as well. And I think if we find out where you are, we can kind of find out where you need to be, or where we can kind of take you from there. I think we talk all the time, like, you have to start with even like a bookkeeper before you get to an accountant, or just make sure your paperwork and everything is in order, to make sure you're loan ready. And I think once you're able to find out if you're loan ready, then we can kind of put you in the right position to move forward for the actual lending side. In order to be able to be successful, we have to know where we are. We have to know the important things. We have to know how much is coming in, how much is going out. So if you're understanding that part on your personal side, and at the same time being able to kind of teach, I have a daughter myself, so be able to kind of teach my daughter, okay, don't spend the whole amount that you receive on allowance, or don't spend the whole amount that you receive on, even on like, she had a summer job, so I was like, put 10% of that up. So understanding her own finances, so you don't have to come to dad after the fact, after you done spent everything up. So being able to understand your personal finances and translating that into your business finances, but at the same time, make sure you keep those separate, because you don't want to commingle your business and personal, but also being able to know what you have coming in, what you have going out, to be successful as a small business owner. What really motivates me is that opportunity, that access, and I think a lot of times where business owners really miss out is just not really able to understand where these opportunities come from. I think we have all been taught to go to your bank, talk to your banker, and then after you leave your banker, just like we talked about before, after you leave your banker, what happens is they give you a yes or a no. You still need that access to capital. You still need those funds to move forward. But if you're able to look beyond what you're used to, look beyond what you've always seen into other CDFIs or other opportunities, yeah, I think that's the best way to kind of make sure you still are provided what you need. I always think the opportunities are there. I always think with the information age that we live in, the opportunity to learn more it creates the opportunity for businesses to continue to do well. That's pretty much what I think when it comes to moving forward. You know, the interest rates are what they are now, but let's try to continue to maintain and make sure that we are doing the things that we need to do to move forward. Just understanding their business, understanding ever changing. I think one thing the pandemic really taught us is that you have to be on the swivel all the time. You have to pivot all the time. You know, those businesses who weren't necessarily ready for the delivery part of things, you know, they were the results of what happened there. One thing about BOI, like I said, to be a part of that access to capital, we lent over $23 million during the pandemic to over 2,000 businesses to give them that access to capital to maintain, to to learn how to pivot, to do the things, whether it's technology or whether it's hiring staff to do the things that they need to do to move forward. So, yeah. I think being able to pivot is probably the best lesson or the best advice that I can give.
You can find out more about the Indy Chamber Business Ownership Initiative, BOI, at beoshow.com. Quickest ways to scan the QR code on your screen. Coming up a little bit later, Jane King checks in from the NASDAQ. But first, how you can have a seat at the table with a friend of the show. Stay with us.
Every business is unique, and every business has a target audience. Circulus Digital Media can help you connect and grow your customer base with turnkey digital solutions that are nimble to reach a customer base that spans the globe. Pinpoint a specific audience down to the smallest details. No matter the size of your business, put Circulus Digital Media to work for you and get results.
This is Business Equity and Opportunities. Ting Gootee is a longtime contributor to our show. She's the CEO of TechPoint and a Champions of Diversity Award winner. And now she's the featured guest for the next Seat at the Table event from the Asian American Alliance of Indiana. For more information about that, we spoke with another friend of the show, Rupal Thanawala, the president of the Alliance.
This is Business, Equity, and Opportunities. This Week in Business.
On February 28th, we are hosting Seat at the Table, a candid conversation with TechPoint CEO Ting Gootee. We have started this series almost 7 years back with an idea that many Asian Americans have now elevated themselves into the C-suite and position of power. However, it is still an evolving trend. But then how do we leverage their experiences to empower and encourage young people to aspire for those positions and be ready for it? So when we started this journey 7 years back as a quarterly event, it has gone very well. We had some of the very inspiring leaders. They come and they have a very open dialogue as how has been their journey, what they have learned from it, some of the mistakes they have made or some things that they could have done differently. So every program is very unique and different because every leader's journey is very different. One of the challenges that we have in the state of Indiana is that we have a very big void, first of all in terms of the tech talent. But then also there are very, very few, and I can count with just my one hand, tech leaders who are diverse. So what can we learn from individual like Ting and inspire all individuals, whether it's women, people of color, Asian Americans, young people interested in tech career, grow their career, but then also what it really means. What are the opportunities here? Because seat at the table really means is that I got a seat at the table, but then how do I make my table bigger? How do I invite others to be in this room and take a seat at the table? And one of the growth opportunity that we have is in tech industry. We want more and more women and people of color to be in this industry, and Ting was very gracious to say yes, and she wants to come and share her journey and what opportunities are there for individuals. It's a free event, so most of the Asian American Alliance events are absolutely free. We welcome everyone, although often our speakers are Asian Americans, but our experiences for all the diverse community are not different. We all have similar challenges, and we can learn from each other regardless of the speaker is Asian American or coming from any background. So we want to make sure that everyone can take advantage of this event. The event is free. Registration is still going on our Facebook page, on our website. And yes, it's a 1 hour of networking event, 5 to 7, because we want to have a one-on-one conversation with each other who are in the room. And then 6 to 7 will be a moderated fireside chat with Ting Gootee. So one of the things is, I would say that Indiana is a hidden gem, and it's often not shared broadly. So definitely Asian American Alliance can collaborate and actually should play a bigger role in amplifying the story of Indiana and what opportunities we have. With this platform and many other platforms, what we are trying to talk about is, not only just from the workforce perspective, but talking about the ready grants that we have, for entrepreneurs, what are the investment opportunities out there. And in general, I would say Indiana is a very nice state to just raise your children and family. So, one of the things that we are thinking about in 2024 is just creating that storyboard also, that whether it's through seat at the table or many other opportunities that we have, also the program is we have planned for the 2024 to share the story, because we have to be the storyteller. Because when they hear from people like me and my members, they would believe it. They said, yes, if, hey, you guys are, Hoosiers by choice, then yes, for 25 years, 50 years, we have 100 years of Hoosiers, who are Asian Americans. So yes, we have to look at it. So I think that's I think onus is on us also, and we have to do more and more storytelling, I think.
This Week in Business is made possible by InnoPower.
The Seat at the Table event with TechPoint CEO Ting Gootee is Wednesday, February 28th from 5 to 7 at Barnes & Thornburg, downtown Indianapolis. No charge to go, but you need to register. To get the link, go to beoshow.com. And bear with us for a bit of a boast, frankly. Wish TV and Business Equity and Opportunities are proud to have been chosen to receive the 2024 All-Star Minority Business Opportunity Week Game Changer Award. Organizers say it's for relentless dedication and unwavering commitment to advancing Black businesses in Indianapolis. We want to thank InnoPower, the Sagamore Institute, and the event sponsor, JP Morgan Chase, for the honor. We'll have a bit more about it in next week's show. Coming up this hour, we preview the next We Brunch. But next, we return with Jane King from Wall Street. As part of our partnership, InnoPower recognizes Black excellence in education. This week, we honor Clara Tucker from Holy Angels Catholic School, Carl Blythe of Mary Castle Elementary School, and Alyssa Middleton from Willow Lake Elementary. Congratulations from InnoPower. You're all excellent educators.
All Indiana Politics cuts through the noise and focuses on the political news that matters most to Hoosiers. Listen and subscribe with new episodes every week. The All Indiana Politics podcast from Wish TV and the All Indiana Podcast Network.
This is Business, Equity, and Opportunities, Accounting and Bookkeeping.
Welcome back. There is a new top drug at Lilly. A big fine takes a big bite out of Cummins. And Indiana's economy tops the Midwest by one measure. Those stories and more from our eyes and ears at the NASDAQ. Jane King.
Eli Lilly and Company continues to be a darling on Wall Street. The Indianapolis-based pharmaceutical company reported fourth quarter revenue and adjusted earnings that topped expectations on the strong launch of its new weight loss drug Zepbound and higher prices for its blockbuster diabetes treatment Mounjaro. The quarterly results are the first to include sales of Zepbound, which won FDA approval in early November. Eli Lilly is entering a new era where Trulicity is no longer the top drug for the company. Instead, its weight loss and diabetes products, Mounjaro and Zepbound, will be the cornerstones for the business. Meanwhile, Cummins' $2 billion federal fine to resolve discrepancies in emission certifications is taking a big bite from the company's 2024 profits. President and CEO Jennifer Rumsey says after 4.5 years of working with regulators, reaching an agreement was the best way to achieve certainty on this matter and move forward with certifying the new products and advancing the Destination Zero strategy. Looking ahead, Columbus-based Cummins says it expects sales to slow this year, with 2024 revenues down between 2% and 5% compared to last year. Well, IU Bloomington's online MBA program was named the best of its kind in the nation. The U.S. News and World Report ranked Purdue's graduate engineering degree as the third best online. IUPUI's graduate online nursing program was second best in the nation in this report. The Kiplinger letter says Indiana will lead the Midwest economy this year with job growth of 1.1%. The Hoosier State's hospitality sector is the region's only one to have recovered all the jobs lost during the pandemic, and construction construction activity is solid. Indianapolis saw a surge of building permits issued late last year, which means more construction this year. And data centers are also big business. Facebook owner Meta just announced it will build a large data center in southern Indiana across the Ohio River from Louisville, Kentucky. And Google is planning a similar data center project in Fort Wayne. A Canadian-owned solar business plans to open a panel-making plant in 2025 in Jeffersonville, creating 1,200 jobs, while Indianapolis is getting a new plastic recycling plant this year. Indianapolis International Airport is leading air travel recovery in the Midwest. 9 of the airport's 10 busiest days happened last year. Simpleflying.com says the airport has exceeded its pre-pandemic capacity with a recovery rate of more than 102%. The return of business travel played a significant role in the airport's recovery. And Ford is considering getting rid of the automated parallel parking feature in its vehicles, saying few customers use it anyway. Company execs say connected vehicle data has helped the company determine if customers are using certain features. And from assessing that data, it makes sense to scrap the auto park feature. And finally, 4 in 10 small business owners believe 2024 will be a make or break year for their business. This research was conducted by Slack and OnePoll, and the survey delved into small business owners' worries, and it looked at what respondents are doing to alleviate them. Respondents listed the economy, the upcoming election, and declining sales as some of the reasons this year will be a make or break year for their business. From the NASDAQ market site, I'm Jane King.
If you're looking for more accounting and bookkeeping segments, go to BEOshow.com or scan the QR code on your screen. While you're there, subscribe to the Business Equity and Opportunities podcast so you can listen to our contributors on your schedule. Later this hour, our industry focus is on the sneaker industry. If you're a designer or you want to be one, you'll want to watch. Next, though, it's time for another We Brunch. We have details when we return.
Every business is unique, and every business has a target audience. Circulus Digital Media can help you connect and grow your customer base with turnkey digital solutions that are nimble to reach a customer base that spans the globe. Pinpoint a specific audience down to the smallest details. No matter the size of your business, put Circulus Digital Media to work for you and get results.
This is Business Equity and Opportunities. I'm Scott Sander. The Women's Equity Brunch, or We Brunch, returns March 3rd. The focus, hidden stories of resistance, celebrating unsung women heroes. To learn about the event, we talked to the co-founders of We Brunch Indy, Denisha Posey and Amanda Bonilla.
This is Business Equity and Opportunities, running your business day to day.
Yeah, so it really came out of a conversation that Denisha and I had in the fall of 2021 around our networks and different women that were doing equity work in Central Indiana. And we quickly realized that we didn't have the same network. And so her and I have been in the city for over 10 years in our respective areas and didn't know a lot of the same people. And so we were having conversations about potentially bringing those groups together. And I think our skill sets complement each other really well. And so we said, well, let's bring together women to have a conversation at brunch. And at the same time, we were looking at pay inequity for women. And so the first brunch was really born out of wanting to create space coming out of the pandemic, bringing women together that maybe knew of each other or maybe had followed each other, but didn't really have the space to connect across disciplines, across ages, across different diverse sectors, to have conversations at the intersection of women and equity in Central Indiana. I think you can't really put into words the energy that happens. You see people come together that otherwise wouldn't have known of each other. You see different women starting to find their group, their board of directors or what have you. And after every single brunch, the comments that we get, the interactions that people have with us about the impact, not only for attending the event, but beyond that, I think is probably one of the most powerful things about it.
So on March 3rd, we will host our first brunch of the year, and we will be uncovering the hidden stories of women's resilience and just how impactful that women can be behind the scenes. So we have a powerhouse panel of 4 different women coming from 4 extremely different backgrounds. Cindy, who is an immigrant who turned into a very successful entrepreneur. She is the CEO of Paco's Tacos. We have Nazreen, who is a creative scholar. We have Tiffany of Certified My Biz. She is a small business growth expert. And finally, we have Naja, who is the founder of the Afghan American Community Center. And so these 4 women come from, like I said, 4 different backgrounds, but have one thread that we found with all of them. And the work that they've done behind the scenes to break down barriers, promote equality, bring women up in so many different ways is truly inspiring. It's truly a remarkable space, a safe space for women to talk about equity issues and things that affect us at different intersections, and it's an easy sell. The brunches, them in and of itself, starts off with a networking hour where women are just open to talk to each other. And we have all these cute little spaces for women to take pictures. We have a DJ. We have beautiful, mimosas and all the things that women like to do when they go to brunch. And it really sets the stage for a relaxed environment where we can just have fun and come together. And then we go into the brunch where we have a buffet, all you can eat at our brunch, sitting at tables in this huge room. We'll have over 200 women at our brunch to sit and listen to this panel of dynamic speakers. The atmosphere that is created from the panel discussion creates more networking opportunities afterwards, and women are lining up to meet our speakers. They're lining up to meet each other, and it's just such an amazing feeling.
We do still have some space available, and this year we were excited to add a table sponsor, so you can get with your girlfriends or get with your coworkers and purchase a table and kind of guarantee that all 8 of you can sit together for the event. The most impactful thing that someone said to me, which reminds me of why we do this work, was that creating that space made them feel brave. And I think that that's what I carry with me as we continue to organize these and put ourselves out there to create this space. Because if we can empower women to just believe in themselves, we can see the magic of that and the community that is created. And so, we've gotten different opportunities. We've been able to be in different spaces as a result of the brunch as well. So I think it's created open doors for us. But I think the biggest thing is watching women walk away and say, I feel empowered to continue the conversations. I feel empowered to do the thing that I was a little nervous to do because I have this group of cheerleaders that support me, or I connected with women that maybe I used to see on a stage or on a pedestal that I am just like. And so I too can achieve what they do.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. One additional thing is if you come to the brunch, then you've probably seen a little 9-year-old girl named Naima that attends as well. And she's my daughter, and I bring her to every brunch, and I want her to see the impact of women coming together collectively, regardless of where they come from, their background, and really coming together in a way that lifts all women. And so my 9-year-old gets to see that. Not only does she get to see that, but she provides her own remarks at every brunch. She learns what the topic is, she does her own research, and she says a few words, and it's just so impactful for me as a mom. But then as we think about bringing up the next generation of women, how important that is.
If you'd like to learn more about We Brunch, visit our website, beoshow.com. During this hour, just scan the QR code. It'll get you right there. Coming up, Eskenazi Health offers high schoolers a taste of a medical career. First, though, if the shoe fits, you're watching Business Equity and Opportunity. Welcome back to Business Equity and Opportunities. Time to focus on an industry. In this case, it's footwear. Dr. Dwayne Edwards has built a career on sole and laces and uppers, designing shoes that have set fashion trends and graced the feet of superstars in entertainment and sport. He is the founder of Pensole Lewis College, PLC Detroit, to help prepare and encourage the next generation of the sneaker design industry.
This is Business, Equity, and Opportunities. Industry Focus.
PLC Detroit is probably the only design-focused historically black college in the U.S. And so it was important for us to reopen a college that was actually originally founded here in Indianapolis in 1928 by an amazing woman by the name of Dr. Violet T. Lewis. She opened a college called Lewis Business College with the simple idea of how do you empower black women to become secretaries in corporations. And this is in the late 20s. And she felt it was important to teach these women the secretarial skills they needed to have other employment opportunities. It did extremely well here in the city, so well that the city of Detroit asked her to open a second location in 1939, and she repeated history that she did here, where some of the first black office employees for like Michigan Bell and GM and Ford were all graduates of, at that time called Lewis College of Business. I was made aware of the college in 2021 by a former alumnus who lives in Detroit. I had my own design academy in Portland, Oregon, after retiring from being in the footwear industry for a few decades. Opened my own design academy called Pensole, and that was really the first design school really in the world that taught footwear design. And so we also paused in 2020 because of obviously everything else pausing in 2020. And so when I was made aware of Lewis College, I had the idea of merging, what I'm doing as a design academy in Portland with this HBCU and being able to combine what we do really well with what the school formerly used to do really well and merging it and reopening it as a business and design school. So when I got into the industry in 1989, as a young 19-year-old kid, just excited to be in the industry, I started to understand the business side of it really, really early, understanding how specific kids are targeted for certain types of shoes and why, and how you create based on demographic and how you create based on geography. But I also discovered that these kids also have or could have other aspirations besides just being consumers of products. They're talented enough to maybe even pursue their own brand one day. And so as I continued through the industry and moved on to Jordan Brand and at Nike and being able to be at the biggest footwear company in the country, I figured, hey, I was able to be on the inside and I got all the answers to the test, right? And so if I could start to share all the answers to the test to these kids, now they have a choice. They can either decide, hey, maybe I should, hone my skills to work at Nike or Jordan Brand, or maybe I can strike out and do it on my own. And so I wanted to basically at least provide them the tools that they need to make the right decision of which direction they want to go. And that was really where Pensole was founded, through that lens of taking all of my industry knowledge, creating an academy that really worked with kids and met them where they were and giving them the insights that they need so they can choose which direction they want to move forward with their creative direction. In the mid-'80s, I was what's today called a customizer. So in the 80s, though, I did it out of necessity, because in the 80s, you can buy whatever color sneakers you want as long as they were white, or white-black. And I wanted white-green because they didn't make white-green, and I wanted them because it matched my basketball uniform in high school. And so I would go to the local shoe repair shop and get green dye, and go to the local hardware store and get duct tape and an X-Acto blade. And I'm like, oh, okay, well, if I can just tape up the part I didn't want to mess up and paint my Nike shoes green, it could probably work. And so I tried it, came out beautiful. I go to school the next day. Kids are freaking out, like, where'd you get those? And so then I started getting paid to customize shoes in '86. Not knowing that was a job. Like, I just did it out of necessity so I can buy more shoes that they didn't have. And so now today, that's a job. Like, there's people that get paid thousands of dollars a shoe to customize something for, whether it's celebrities or athletes, entertainers, or just friends, And so that simple idea of taking an existing object, applying your creative talents to it and then reselling it to someone, or someone actually contracts you to do that for them. That's just another vehicle to live out your artistic vision, right? The design side is, oh, I don't like the way that looks. I'll redesign it the way I think it should look. And so it's those two worlds of being a designer and an artist. Sometimes people do both, but most of the time you don't do both. What we try to do though is, because of the way that the college is structured, we try to make sure everyone's empowered to mentor two people. And then those two people, you make sure you put on them that they mentor two people. And so what we're trying to do is really create this placing of seeds throughout the industry, especially artistically, because a lot of it you can't get in a book. And a lot of creative energy and passion comes from lived experiences. And if you can share those lived experiences of processes, techniques, and things of that nature that you literally cannot get from a book, from a creative perspective, that's when the creativity continues to grow and foster and develop into something a whole lot more special than maybe they even knew they were capable of.
Industry Focus is made possible by Circulus Digital Media.
If you'd like more information about this or any of our industry focus segments, go to beoshow.com. When we return, it will be time for our success story. So stay with us. Time on business, equity, and opportunities for our success story. The Rawls Scholars Medicine Initiative is a partnership between Eskenazi Health and the Center for Leadership Development. One of the first black surgeons of Indianapolis founded it. The program offers local high school students a taste of a career in medicine.
This is Business, Equity, and Opportunities. Success Story.
Eskenazi Health, which was formerly Wishart Health Services, we did a collaboration with Center for Leadership Development to get the students involved that we would have involved with the medicine initiative. There's a scholarship that was endowed by for the Rawls Medicine Scholarship through Health and Hospital, but the Rawls Medicine Initiative is for our high school students who are interested in a career in medicine. We wanted to get the students who were interested in any field of medicine, not just physicians, but if you wanted to be a nurse or a physical therapist or whatever your desire was, we just wanted to be able to get the students involved so they could experience what we do here in a healthcare institution and see if that's something that they would like to do for their career in the future. It's for high school minority students, but they have to complete the career self-discovery career exploration course, which is 13 weeks through Center for Leadership Development in order to apply to be part of the Rawls Medicine Initiative. As Dr. Rawls would always say, there was a lacking of minority health students here in the state. So in order for us to try to recruit more African American students in medicine and to apply for the School of Medicine, we felt if we reached back early when the students were in high school to see what their interest was, that would give us a better idea of how many students we maybe could get to finish their career out here in the city. Well, so far we've had some great data to show that there are several students who are now actually part of the School of Medicine, and they actually come back and speak to the current Rawls class. So we're excited about that. I know we have a third-year student, and we also have a fourth-year resident who is now finishing up at the University of Kentucky. Well, like I said, I'm really tied into the Center for Leadership Development because I was a student at CLD when I was in high school, which was a long time ago. But then I also was a class facilitator for over 17 years. I was actually a former board member for Center for Leadership Development. So I do have that tie-in as an alumni. So I'm vested in the youth of our community to just see how I can better help create the atmosphere to have the students be able to see what it's like to work in the healthcare field. And Eskenazi has been awesome to allow that collaboration. They actually get to meet some of the med students and residents who are currently part of the School of Medicine, and they're all African American residents and med students. So that gives them something to strive for, and they can see, oh, they look like me. One day I can be like them. And we try to encourage them, to stay in the city and work. And we would love to have them come back and work here at Eskenazi Health, but we encourage them to stay open-minded about staying in the community that they serve as well. We started back again like in 2004, and we started with a small number, and now we're up to over 50 students each year. And we just want to continue to increase their knowledge of what we're trying to do and expand upon our classes so they can just, see other entities, not just here at Eskenazi Health, but we have the coroner's office come in and Dr. Virginia Kane from the Marion County Health Department. So there's always there's different capacities that they could work in, not just here in the hospital. Our mission is to advocate, care, teach, and serve. So we try to live that mission and to collaborate with CLD and try to get those young minds ready for what they can excel in the future. It's something that the institution has always been a part of. Well, I hope that CLD will continue. It's been a staple part of this community for over 40 years. So I'm just hoping we can continue to expand upon that. More students will be engaged in all the programs that CLD provides. And Rawls is just one avenue for the students, and that's, as you know, for those who are interested in some field of the field of medicine. So we're just hoping that each year we can continue to increase the number of students that we provide this great experience for that 6 weeks that they're here with us.
You can see the story and much more on Wish TV's Celebrating Black History special this Thursday evening at 6:30 on Wish TV. You'll find a link to all the stories from this morning's show on BEOshow.com or scan the QR code to get there. You can subscribe to our newsletter and podcast there as well. And if you have questions or suggestions about what you'd like to see, send us an email at beo@wishtv.com. Thanks for spending the hour with us. Join us next week for more business equity and opportunities. Till then, I'm Scott Sander. Have a great day.
Business, equity, and opportunities made possible by InnoPower, Bose McKinney & Evans, Gemco, Fifth Third Bank, Indiana University, Indianapolis, and Circulus Digital Media.